What's happening, everybody? Welcome to the last fall edition of Nathan's Notables. Took off a few weeks here, but we're doing a recap show today. And Trevor Gill and I, we decided on our top 5 athletes from the fall, and we're calling it the FJN Fantastic 5 of Fall. And the top 5 fall athletes, any sport, no restrictions on it, grade, anything like that. So we each voted and took on averages, and we got our top 5 athletes from the Fairbury Journal News coverage area. So starting at number 5 for our Fairbury Journal News Fantastic 5 of Fall is Jamie Manns. She's a freshman for Fairbury softball team. She had a phenomenal season, and she really stepped up and was the leader in almost every offensive category this year, and that earned her all-state selection for the Lincoln Journal-Star this year in Class B, a year after they moved up in class.
And rightfully so. I mean, whenever I watched the team, whenever they were down or needed a pick-me-up, Jamie was right there to provide that spark for the team.
Absolutely. And she had a grand slam in Fairbury's first-round district game against York. That was a big-time win for them. Propelled them to be able to even get to that championship game, and they beat Beatrice, which ended up taking runner-up in Class B. Fairbury's softball team had a phenomenal season. Jamie Manns, she's going to be pitching with Raven Dufresne next year after Delaney Miller graduated. That's going to be a dynamic duo and on the mound. And if Fairbury, I mean, I think they can get back to state either way, whether it's B or C. They got a lot of talent coming back.
They do.
They're losing Delaney. She's a great pitcher. And they losing Tori Likens, a great situational hitter as well. But, hey, you got Cora DeBoer, Chiel Johnson, Claire Chamard, Jamie, Josie Manns. You could go on and on. So a lot of talent coming back for that team. And moving on, number 4 is top placer for the area in cross country. That's Creighton Niemeyer. And we kind of got a taste of what he's all about at state track last year when we were covering that. He won state in the mile, and then he came out for cross country for the first time. He played football his first 3 years, and then he took 4th at state.
He's a great story in that what could he have been had he gone out for cross country years prior to that. To finish 4th after going out for 1 year, that's kind of phenomenal to me.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, think about if he could have built that stamina. But at the same time, placing 4th, and I know he wanted to win that title, but Ben Aarons of Ainsworth, phenomenal. Won the all-class gold, and he was a D runner, a Class D runner. So, but great. I mean, and during this season, he won 8 out of 10 races, and he only lost at state, and he lost Fairbury Invite. He took 2nd to Colby Carr, Blue Hill, which edged him at state as well. But a phenomenal season for Creighton. I look forward to the track season, and he's actually a pretty good basketball player too. Tri-County basketball team's something to look out for. But moving on, number 3, Hallie Pribble, Meridian, and she had a lot of weight on her shoulders this year. They lost Riley Piper, they lost Aaron Johnson, and Lauren DeLord. All of them went to college to play volleyball, and this year was thought to be a rebuild year a little bit. Talked to Bob Van Westen before the season. He thought, they had some talent, but it was probably going to be a rebuild. And man, they made it to the district final and even stole a set from Johnson Brock. That was phenomenal. Yeah. And Hallie Pribble sets a school record, and that's going to be in today's paper. I got an article on her setting the record, and if you want to check it out, get a copy of the paper. But she set school record with 521 kills. That's on a .315 hitting percentage. So she got a lot of attack attempts, but she made the most of them, as Bob Van Westen said. So I look for them possibly to be a contender and make it to state next year.
Especially with her coming back to lead the team again.
Yeah, and Josie Sabatka, who was the other starter returning from the runner-up team, she's going to be a senior with Hallie. That duo is going to be one to watch next year. So, and number 2.
Number 2 is Emily Welch of Thayer Central Volleyball.
Yep, Emily Welch. Watched Thayer Central probably 6 times-ish this year, maybe 7, 8. But I watched them against Superior, all their matches. I watched them against Fairbury, their season opener against Tri-County. So I kind of saw them at the start and what they became. And Emily Welch was the foundation of that team, and she can do it all. I mean, she set the school record for us in a season for digs and kills. And the interesting fact is she passed head coach, Cody Dunlap, had the previous dig record, and she took it from her head coach and during her first year. So kind of an interesting fact there. And they made it to the state. She led them to the state tournament for the first time since 2012. So that group of 5 seniors, we interviewed them. If you haven't checked it out on Fairbury TV, you should.
Yep.
It was a great group interview, and then you got to see Emily at that first round of state against.
Yeah, that first round of state. You know, those first 2 sets. They came out, looked a little nerve setting them, but you know, Emily along with the other seniors, they kind of put the team in their place and got rolling to take sets 3 and 4.
Yeah, then that's when I showed up. I was at the Diller-Odell game, and it was a heck of a comeback. What a battle. And then Hardington went on to beat Superior in the next round to make the state final, and that was just great all around for Thayer Central. And they're bringing back Jessa Weedle and Chloe Sourdyke and Sydney Hovel. Great foundation for them to build upon next year. And number 1, and I got to see him in person a good 4 or 5 times this year, and that's Colton Rezbeck, Wilbur Clatonia football. Do-it-all player, and that's a bit of an understatement for what he does. He's scored, take a deep breath here, he scored 11 rushing touchdowns.
Quite the stat line here.
11 rushing touchdowns, 6 receiving touchdowns. He had an interception for a touchdown. And he also had 5 interceptions and 3 blocked punts. I mean, just did it all. And special teams, offense, defense, and he was second on his team in tackles and tackles for loss. So, I mean, phenomenal player. Right. And he got selected to play in the River Battle Bowl, which Trent Grizzle and Adam Wasserman, Fairbury, made that last year. It's a good game to get in front of college coaches, and I suspect he'll sign with college, but phenomenal player, all-around player, team player, and they call him Razor. Even the announcer at football games call him Razor. Twitter handle, Razor. So, and I could see why. He slices through defenses. He's just one of those guys that make things happen. And so it's a very fitting nickname. And they had a great, I was there for their win, playoff football game against North Bend. And so that was good for him. And he won a state title a few years ago as well. Colton did as a sophomore on that state championship team. So he is our top area athlete. It was very tough to decide. And a lot of phenomenal choices. Very hard. I mean, 208 starting varsity positions out of all area teams, so we narrowed down from about 208 down to 5. So yeah, that's our top athletes of the fall. It was a fantastic fall season, and we should be getting winter sports cranked up here right after Thanksgiving break, which Thanksgiving is a week from tomorrow, believe it or not.
We'll be getting ready with our winter team to watch here soon.
Yes.
There's a couple teams we're looking at, so if you've got any suggestions as to why your team should be our winter team to watch, hit us up on Twitter and let us know.
Yeah, hit us up on Twitter or Facebook. Anyway, we'll take that in consideration. But look forward to a great season. But that should do it for Nathan's Nobles for the fall. I'm Nathan Heuer here with Trevor Gill, and that should do it. And as always, stay tuned for Fairbury TV and Fairbury Journal News for new and exciting coverage.